Dave, I wanted to ask you, so given that each vector has its own most significant challenge, certainly when it comes to vector development and manufacturing, if you could break down for us uh, the most difficult challenges in vector development and manufacturing, even if we go vector by vector.
Yeah, I certainly don't think that I, would be alienating too many listeners when I say that I still think that the pervasive challenge that most companies face is the overall productivity of the upstream systems and the ability of the downstream systems to adequately clear impurities while retaining as much of that desired product as possible. These are, it's difficult to get a cell to make a viable active particle. We often think as humans that we get infected, we get a cold, we get the flu or whatever. This must be easy, but from a therapeutically viable standpoint, it's actually a low efficiency system. So the upstreams still aren't making nearly enough product. The downstreams are taking too much of that product away to try and clear to standards. So that continues to generally be, obviously that's a broad stroke paint job that I'm doing with respect to that question, to that response. But the fact is, these systems, regardless of vector, tend to be very underperforming in terms of their overall efficiency.
Sure, and we get more to that into the scalability discussion part of this talk today for sure. But Curran, I want to pose the same question to you, especially from an AAV perspective. What do you consider to be the most difficult challenges in the development and manufacturing currently?
I think we've made really good progress on yield improvement for the upstream process and certainly as well for the downstream process, to the point where I think the potential to achieve cost of goods that is necessary for long term, we're getting closer on that. So I really feel that we're making inroads. Now, we're doing that with triple transfection upstream process, which is 3 plasmids in a cocktail basically mixed together and utilized in the upstream process. And that process itself, back to scalability, it is a challenge, and it's difficult to get to scales that will produce acceptable cost of goods. And some companies have overcome that over time, but that's one area of, I would say, improvement that could happen. I'd also say from the viewpoint of maybe a company that's starting out and having to work virtually, access to cell lines that are highly productive is very, very limited. And so companies and vendors that are working on cell line development in which they would provide that cell line for sale really should focus on being able to demonstrate acceptable yields from those cell lines. And I think that will help a lot of the people that are just getting into the business.